Okay, more trig proofs. If we're going to simplify on number 4, we need to start by using our identity for secant squared. Secant squared is the same as 1 over cosine squared. Generally, simplify is going to mean if you have any fractions, get a common denominator so that you can combine. So that first step, just using that identity, secant squared is the same as 1 over cosine squared. And now we need a common denominator. So what I need to do here is use a fancy form of 1 and multiply sine squared over 1 by cosine squared over itself. Remember, when we're doing trig proofs, we can only multiply by that fancy form of 1. So the top of my second fraction here is sine squared times cosine squared. And now I have that common denominator built in there. So written as one single fraction. I guess it doesn't really look simpler than the original problem, but that is the simplified version there. Remember, this is an all multiple choice test, so what you would really be asked to do is say which is equivalent to this guy. All right, number 5 is a multiple choice. So if you want guess and test path of kind of least resistance for these, you can take this original problem, put it in your calculator, graph it, and graph it along with these other options and see which one matches. So it's a lot of entry in your calculator, especially with cotangents and cosecants, but that can get this done for you if you have time. I think that would be a good way to double check your work. If you want to run through that with me, just ask me in class. I think what I'm going to do, what will be faster than using our calculator on this one, is going to be using our Pythagorean identity. So I want to substitute in for my squared. My singlet is cosecant squared. In case you don't have that memorized, you don't have to. What you do have memorized is sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1. And in order to get cotangent, since cotangent is cosine squared over sine squared, we're going to divide everything by sine squared. So sine squared over itself is 1. Cosine squared over sine squared is cotangent squared. And 1 over sine squared is cosecant squared. So we're keeping the singlet, we're substituting for the squared. I'm going to subtract that 1 over. So cotangent squared is the same as cosecant squared minus 1. The rest of that little expression is going to stay the same. So all I did was substitute in for the cotangent squared. And now I'm going to combine my like terms. My like terms here are -1 and -4. And we're not asked to factor or anything here. It's really all about doing that substitution and combining our like terms correctly. So we match A.